Welcome back to Angie's Art and Crafted Creations. I'm Angie, and today's video I'm excited to bring you. It took me longer to do this than expected due to my new job. Excuse the dog. But this video is going to be this little beauty. It's a custom order for my daughter's girlfriend. All the rhinestones on that. She's a Minnie Mouse lover, and so my daughter asked me to make her a Minnie Mouse cup, and this is what I came up with. So if you are interested in seeing how I made it, let's get on into it. All right, so to get this tumbler started, I am working with a 22-ounce cafe-styled tumbler with a dome lid from the Steel Magnolia. I'm going to take this putty knife and I'm going to wedge it into the side of that. Take this little hammer that I have and tap it down so that it gets snug in between the little extra piece that pops out and the tumbler, and pop it out. And there you have it. It's a little piece of, it's the little bottom of it. All right, so then next I'm going to take a 80 grit piece of sandpaper, sand it down. And there we go. And get all that shine off of there. And I've in a couple of groups that mentioned sanding the bottom of it because the glitter comes out. I haven't done that yet, but I think I'm probably going to start doing that. So anyway, so next up I am going to take this Minnie Mouse vinyl and I'm going to put it on half of the tumbler. So I believe it was about 5.5 by however long this tumbler is, which I didn't measure because I just, as you'll see, I did measure this. It's 11 inches around, and this is a bit of a taper. So I take some painter's tape. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Maybe I should have. Just slow down, Ange, slow down. But yeah, so 5.5 wide is what I'm going to cut it at, and the length on it is 7 inches. So get my little paper cutter out, line it up to the 5.5, and slice it. And this is where I put the cup up to it and just use that measurement. There you go, and cut that off. And I'm going to apply this. And I start to put it on the upside down. I don't like the way that it looks, so I flip it over, and you'll see that in just a second. I wanted the Minnie Mouses to be standing upwards, not upside down. I mean, they all are in different directions. However, the main part of them I wanted to be facing the correct way. All right, so I'm going to line this up, as I said. Take my little squeegee and rub this off, making sure there's no little air bubbles in there. And now this is where I'm going to take my painter's tape, line up to the top, get my little ruler, and I'm going to measure to make sure that this painter's tape is even length all the way around, or even width from the top of it, if that makes any sense, so that I can cut or have a straight edge, because the first edge that I put on there, I hope is straight. It seems straight enough to me. But I'm going to use my little craft knife and from Fiskars and cut that off, and then I'm going to use that same piece of tape, line that up on the bottom so that it's straight, because as you can see it's a tapered cup and it doesn't give you a square surface. So cut that off, and then I'm going to take my little cutter here that I got from Amazon and cut off the bottom, and now I have a nice square piece. So here I am going to cover this up with some painter's tape and get it ready to be painted. Oh, well, first I'm going to show you that the gems that I'm going to put on there, those Mickey Mouse gems I purchased like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. 2015, my daughter and I went to Disneyland, and they were for some scrapbooks that I'm making for us, or was going to make for us. Anyway, so now I'm going to just carefully cover this up with the painter's tape and get it prepped up for paint. Just try to get it all, make sure I don't miss any spots. I don't want to get any overspray on the vinyl. Cut that off the bottom right quick, make sure it's nice and straight. And then I also trim the top of it up. Being a little picky there. That was a mistake right there. I shouldn't have done that because that height is not the same height as the vinyl. It's the vinyl where I cut it. It's only like 1/8 of an inch, and that's more like 1/4 of an inch. So, and if I didn't say that right, I'm sorry. My apologies, but yeah. So anyway, go ahead and make sure again that it's all the same length away. And then I'm going to go and take Color Shot Silhouette Gloss Red and paint the tumbler. And then I also should not have taken all this off. I should have just left it on there because I'm going to end up putting it back on anyhow to do the tack it method with Aileen's tack it. That's where it got trimmed a little bit too much, or not too much, but that other trim from the trimmer thingy, the edging tool. All right, so I'm going to take my tack it, a nice fluffy brush after I tape this back up. Start to tape the whole thing up and realize, hello, you don't need to tape the whole thing, just the edges. So tape those edges up. Make sure to get the bottom. And then we will take my nice fluffy brush and apply the tack it. Get that off. Make sure we got a nice even coverage there, square. All right, so here's where I take my tack it. Aileen's over and over, tack it over and over. Poisoned Apple by glittermatters.com. It's a nice holographic red. Very pretty. And we take that fluffy brush and put a nice even coat over this. Not in the bottom well, just on the tumbler itself and then the bottom rim of the tumbler. Get a smaller paintbrush to do the top and the bottom where the vinyl is. And I dried it off. I don't know if I show you that. Nope. But I did use my heat gun to dry that quicker. Apply a second coat. Nice even coat on there. Nice even coverage. And then you take, there we go. There's the heat gun. Dry that up so you can't see it anymore. I'm showing you there that it is a 0.008 cut. And go ahead and put a nice even coat over where all the tacket is. And then I'm going to use, I believe I'm going to use a little makeup sponge. Keep that glitter. That glitter's still good, but the glitter that comes off here, I don't keep because it's contaminated with the tacket over and over. And take this tape off before I do completely do the burnishing. Take that little makeup sponge, burnish the whole cup where all the glitter and tacket is. Use my finger a little bit here and there just to make sure I got it all nice, or got it all off and nice and smooth. And look at that. Look at that holographicness. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. That red really does have an awesome holographic effect. Look, whatever you may call it. Okay, and then I'm going to put it on my spinner after I clean the bottom of it off, put a nice coat of epoxy over it. I believe I used Flynn Sisters Boutique 2-part epoxy. And I probably went with 20 milliliters, 10 milliliters of A and 10 milliliters of B. I'll let it dry. Here, I'm just making sure to get the rest of this glitter off or any tack it off that's on there. And move on. I guess I could cut some more of that out. Sorry. My apologies. I'm just there cleaning off the vinyl, make sure that there's no glitter on there. All right, so here I took some Arteza Bubble Bath Pink mica powder and the same poisoned apple glitter, mixed it together in some epoxy fast set and put it in this little straw topper mold that I have. Little Mickey head with its ear bitten off. All right, this is after the coat of epoxy. Nice, beautiful shine on it. I love the shine of that epoxy. And here's the vinyl I'm going to use. Her name is Arielle. And that vinyl is from HTV Ront. That's the outline, and that is just Cricut, I believe, Cricut vinyl. And then I'm going to put this little Minnie Mouse sticker on it. So super cute. So I'm going to weed out her name right quick. Stuff weeds out really easily. And that roll of transfer tape I got from the vinyl warehouse. My job that I just started a couple weeks ago is in Indiana, and they have a vinyl warehouse store there. So I go over there sometimes on my lunch, do a little shopping, and picked up that transfer tape. Quite handy. Make sure to get all this weeded out. This stuff weeds pretty easy too. And I'm going to measure where I want it to go on the cup. I'm sorry, I'm a lot out of frame right there. Measure the Minnie up with her name where it's going to be placed. And this is a little light board that I got from Temu. I think it was probably $4 or $5 for this little thing. Plug it into a USB cord. It's got 3 different light settings, and it helps really well to line up your outline. So I probably should have done it the other way around, where I put the outline over the offset off over the full name, but so I did that a little backwards, but it still worked. Measure that up, make sure I got it in the right place, peel it off, and voila. Good to go. And then this is going to be ready for another coat of epoxy. Once I get all these little pieces, as I said, it didn't work all that. I should have did it the other way around, but it's okay. I made it work. Press all that down, make sure it's nice and firm. I don't want any air bubbles underneath that because the epoxy will make it lift. I don't want that. And that beautiful little font. Oh, this font that I got is a Disney font, and I got it from defont.com, I believe. Oh, no, I didn't. I got it off of the Silhouette store. So I did spray it with a coat of that, oh my goodness, Color Shot Clear Matte. And then I put another coat of epoxy on it. And then here I am, as you can see, sanding the rim of it with some 80 grit sandpaper. And then I use also a 220 grit sandpaper to get a little smoother. I want to expose that nice fine line for its finish, for its last coat of epoxy. I didn't have to do any sanding on it. The tack it method leaves no room for lumpy glitter. All right, so then I'm going to move on to the lid. The lid I also sprayed with the Silhouette color shot. These gorgeous rhinestones are from Flynn Sisters Supply Shop, and they are called the Dark Sister. It's a beautiful blend of rhinestones. I'm going to take my little needle syringe here that I have some liquid fusion in, put a nice little thin line on it, use the wax pencil that I also got from Flynn Sisters Boutique, along with those green little rhinestone dishes. Those are also from Flynn Sisters Boutique. And I am going to start at a random, no rhyme, no reason, and just start applying the rhinestones in a scattered method. So just whatever fit anywhere you know, whether they're like small. This is a different mix. So there's probably 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 different sizes in this. So this did take me a little bit of time. So I have some progression shots coming up here soon. I didn't record the whole thing of me rhinestoning. That would have taken forever, because in the reality of it, it probably took me 5-6 hours maybe to rhinestone this. This is only like the second thing that I've rhinestoned, so I did have to also purchase some magnifying headset glass thingies so I could see better, because some of those rhinestones are so tiny. But there it is, a little close-up of it. Look at the shine. Sparkles so pretty. And then we're going to move on to the butt of the tumbler. And everything's going smooth and fine right here. Mix up my fast set. Put in my cherry bomb glitter from SOC Glitters. And, get it all nice and mixed up. Maybe I put too much in there of the glitter. I'm not really quite sure. But these are from Sandi's Organized Chaos SOC Glitters. She's got some beautiful glitter as well, and some amazing videos here on YouTube. But I'm going to take my little stir stick and apply the epoxy around that outside edge, just to the top of the rim that separates the outer dome, outer area from the inner area. And make sure it's all nice and flat. And then I'm going to put that in the middle of it. And then I'm going to also put some in this little Minnie Mouse keychain that I didn't show. And so then we're going to go back to the lid and the progression that I'm at. And I don't know how many hours it was at this point, but just wanted to show you there. So I'm going to finish this little section up. And at that point, I moved to my bottle, because the syringe was nearly empty. And I wanted to have more come out than just that little tiny amount. Because once I got to this point, and even before this point, it was easier to put a bigger section of the liquid fusion down than just a little line. I'm going to go ahead and just put any rhinestone in. I tried to keep the colors, as separated as I could, but some of them, there was a bunch of red in one area, a bunch of silver, as you'll see here. So just about got this thing done. Look how pretty and shiny that is. I love it. I love it. It's like some purple in there. There's the bigger red rhinestones. And then here we have the finished lid. I did the outside rim of it. Just a nice line around that whole thing. And I would tell you what sizes that is, but I'm not really sure. It's probably one of the medium sizes, middle sizes. Okay, and then we're going to go back to the tumbler. And yeah, see, I don't know what happened, but for some reason it didn't set up. And this was like the next day. So I'm thinking maybe I did put too much glitter in there. So I very carefully scoop out this glitter and resin, clean out the bottom and the rim as much as I can, clean out the mold as good as I can, use baby wipes and probably some rubbing alcohol to get all that off of there. It was a big pain in my behind. I don't show you all of this because that would be kind of lame and take forever to do that because it took me some time to get this cleaned off. I want to make sure I didn't have any of it in there. And then I also used some Arteza red paint to repaint that because I didn't want to spray it. And then we're moving on. Once I did apply another coat to the bottom, it worked this time, to the shaker bottom. These are some little Mickey Mouse heads, phyllo head clay pieces that I purchased off of Amazon. Or not Amazon, Etsy. I'll have all the links to everything that I have purchased in my description box below. And I'm going to take my little silicone tool there, even out the UV resin to the best of my ability. But for some reason, I still got a little bit of a bubble there, or where it lifted. I'm not lifted, but rose. It rose up. I don't know, but... excuse me, in the long run, it ended up working out. I'm going to use that tool again to get a nice even coat over the acetate sheet. Just poke down where I need. This is that UV lamp that I did purchase off of Amazon. And look at it. Shake it. Oh, it's so cute. I love it. Love it, love it. Okay, and so this is the last final coat of resin. And these are the little stickers that I showed you earlier. And this is about 4 hours into this coat of epoxy. The epoxy, again, that I'm using for this is the Flynn Sisters Boutique. And I did, I believe, again, 10 parts of A, 10 parts of B. And I very carefully placed these on to the epoxy so that they would stay adhered to the epoxy and I didn't have to epoxy over them, otherwise they would lose their shine. But I just think this tumbler is so stinking cute. Just press them down and make sure we're all good to go. It did start sliding just a tad bit, so I turned the tumbler on to let it finish drying. And here she is, Miss America. I'm just kidding. But this beautiful Minnie Mouse tumbler, I think it is absolutely adorable. I know my friend is going to love it and probably give her that cry of happiness cry. But it is absolutely beautiful, and I hope that you are still with me at this point and that you love this tumbler as much as I do. I want to thank you so much for watching, and if you are currently a subscriber, thank you so much. If you are not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. And I just want to say thank you so much again for watching my video today. Have a good night, or have a good day, have a good night, whatever it may be for you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye now.